It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a trick-taking area control game. That's a weird combination, called Joraku. Joraku here is a game in which you are going to be playing cards to both deploy troops onto the map and move those troops around, control key locations when the time is right. Let me show you how the game works. I'm going to give you an overview and then I'll tell you what I think of this strange combo. Here's what the board of the game looks like. I'm going to be showing you a game with 3 players, and the objective of the game is to have the most points after 3 rounds of play by controlling these areas here on the board. And each area is one of these columns here with a scoring chart underneath it. Each area tells you where how many points in the first age you'll earn for first, second, and third place, and then in the second age, and lastly in the third age. As you can probably tell, the areas over here get worse as the game goes on, and the areas, the farther this way you travel towards Kyoto, then the better the areas get later on in the game. At the beginning of the game, we're going to shuffle up these cards and give each player one of them, and they will put their leader here in that area. And so they'll put that, green will put that on 2, red will put theirs on 3, and yellow will put theirs on 6, like so. And they are pretty much not really used for the rest of the game, but that's where you're starting. And then the player who has the highest number will get this card here, which I'll explain in a moment. So they'll get that, and then the game can start. Here you have a round overview card, and as you can see, there are several phases to the game. I'm going to talk you through these very quickly. So the first thing is we'll deal some cards, 6 in a game with 3 players, to each player. Cards from this deck. And then you are going to pass 2 of them simultaneously to the left. So these cards, there are 3 suits of cards, yellow, red, and blue. And they go from 6 down to the ninja, which is sort of a 0. And so you are going to get your 6 cards. You are going to pass 2 of them, this one and this one, to this player, and then you are going to get 2 more, and you'll add them to your hand. That's it. That's the first part. Second part is skirmish. Each player is going to play 1 card and resolve it. And so the way that works is fairly simple. When you play a card, you get one of 2 options. So let's say I am the yellow player, I'm first, this is my hand, I'm going to play that. So I've got 2 options here. I can put up to 3 armies in the zone of the card I played, so 6. So I could do that, 2 or 3 or just 1 in 6, that's fine. Or the other option is I can give myself 6 action points. And the action points let me do a couple of different things. An action point lets me move one of my troops on the board. And each area is 1. So 1, 2, 3, etc. I can move my leader for 2 action points. So that's 2, 4. Or where my leader is, I can kill one of the opposing armies. So if my leader is here, I can kill this army for 1, give it back to that player. I can kill this other one for 2 and give it back to that player. Alright, so those are your 3 options. Move your own troops, move your leader, kill other players' troops where your leader is. The next players in turn are going to have to follow the color of the card I played, unless they're unable to. And so let's say I played this, and now green is up. They have this card, they'll play it, and they'll put, let's say, 3 cubes, troops here, into area 1. And then lastly, the red player here will go, and they will, let me give myself a hand of cards here. They are going to play, let's say, the 3, and they will add a couple of cubes to 3. Once that's done, then we see who played the highest card, the one that wins the trick here, and they get this card, and they check where their leader is, if they're winning in that area right now. And the way to determine that is your leader is 2 points Each troop cube here is 1 point. You see if you have majority there. And if you do, then you are going to get 3 points. And you would keep track of those here on the track. If you are second place, you get 2. If you're third place, you get just 1. Whoever has this now will lead the next round. And we'll continue doing that until we've played out our hands. So all 6 tricks in a game with 3 players. After that, then we go zone by zone, area by area, checking who wins each one. And we're going to give them points depending on, again, these are 2 points of influence. These are 1. And the winner will get 7 here, 6 here, etc. And all of that entire process represents 1 round in the game, and the whole game is 3 rounds. That's pretty much the entire game. The only thing I have not told you about is the ninjas themselves. When you play a ninja, the ninja wins if anybody played a 6. So if anybody played that card, let's say, and it's my turn, I cannot follow red, so I can play anything, and I play this ninja, boom, I win this trick. And what the ninja lets me do, I cannot move troops with the ninja, but I can deploy up to 3 of my armies here anywhere I want to with the ninja, and so I could go right in here even. And normally in Kyoto you cannot deploy directly in there, you need to actually march your troops in there, but with the ninja I can do that. The game also includes a few variant rules here which you can use. The game recommends you shuffle them up and use 2 of them if you want to mix the game up a little bit. And so as you can see, what they do is they basically change some of the rules that are part of the game as it is, and some of the tie-breaking rules, for example, here. They change the way cards are handled when they're played, things like that. These do add a nice bit of interest to the game. If you've played enough and feel like you want to spice up the game a little bit, then these are a solid way to do that. Very well done. And that's pretty much the game. You're going to play that 3 times, shuffling up, playing the first age, second age, third age. Most victory points at the end of the game is the winner. One thing I really like about this game is that it's a stunning production. The box looks good, the cards look good, board is nice. I mean, the cubes are cubes, whatever, but the production of the game really is solid. And I always enjoy that in a game. It's got a nice size to it. It's a solid, well put together package here. The game is clever and it's different, and it does take some time for you to sort of wrap your head around it and start to sort of figure out useful things to do in the game. Every time I've played, I've had some players at least spend some time going, I don't really know what I should be doing right now. And I think it's not that they don't know how to win the game. It's that the idea of trick-taking then translating into area control is a strange concept. So I get that. I sort of had to wrap my head around that at first as well. But it's surprising how well those 2 things mix in this game. Now, the game is not a mind-blowing game. It's clever. It's interesting. I like it enough that I think it's something worth finding and hanging on to. But it's not in my top 10 trick-taking games of all time. It's I don't know if the replayability is going to hold up after 30 plays, but I do think that it's a clever enough system that you should check it out, because it's surprising that it works as well as it works, and it's surprising that the cards, depending on when in the game you get them, the higher cards could be better or worse. And I like that, for example, a 6. At some points in the game, you want 6 action points. But at some point in the game, when you have that 6, you have armies that have been killed off and you want to put them back on the board. A 6 is awful because they come in across the board. They come in on the entire wrong side of the map. And that's clever. I like that the dichotomy there of cards are, no matter what the card is, it's good or bad. It's, a 1 is awesome, and they show up right there next to where you want to end up by the third age. I like the migration of the troops over to Kyoto as the game continues. Just a really, for how simple the game is, really, I find it thematic. And as I teach the game to new groups, I always find myself slipping into thematic tie-ins for what's happening on the map and as the game progresses. And so I really like it. It's not amazing. It's not something you are going to perhaps play for the rest of your life or anything, but I absolutely think it's worthwhile and you should check it out. Joraku, really cool game, very neat trick-taking game with a twist, and I do recommend it. Check this one out, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.